lineup. And once again, a mix of those who are professional and those who are still in the collegiate ranks. The national lead, Colin Solomon, 7:36.71. He set it here at BU at the Sharon Collier Danville season opener. So many things happened in that meet. Those athletes went back into deep, intense training, maybe took a day or two off around the holidays, but they are back here in the middle of February ready to go again.
But we cannot forget about the true fastest time by a collegian this season, run by Marco Langon, 7:34.56 over at Boston's track at New Balance at the New Balance Indoor Grand Prix. Came fourth overall, but also moved to number 4 on the NCAA all-time list. Of course, there was that famous quote of his about just the state of pro running, everybody being, and I quote, cracked. But Marco Langon, his biggest determining factor, he just wants to win. Doesn't matter who he's racing against. That's his one goal. And
you had mentioned about being competitive, as we saw Colin Shaver from Boston College. He is ahead of the pace lights, and we do see Langon right now sitting in the number 2 spot. So maybe he took a look down and said, you know what, I like these lights. I want to stay with them.
Oh, there was a fall there towards the back. Looked like one of the BYU guys.
Well, there's one BYU runner all the way at the back of the pack, separated by about 5 or 6 meters.
Looks like Thomas Boyden is okay, so is Tayvon Kitchen.
That is Creed Thompson.
Yes.
All the way at the back behind some of the Oregon Ducks, who are currently patiently sitting at the back of this field. Colin Shaver at 30.6. The pace time scheduled to be 30.3 per lap, so as humanly close as humanly possible, he is on pace. We'll see how they come by with the lights.
One athlete I'm not seeing out there is Gary Martin of Virginia, who was highly slated to do it out with Langon for this
no Virginia kid
3K win right here. So unfortunately, while we will not get that matchup, we still have a lot of guys that could potentially challenge Langon, who's our current racing leader. You look right behind him, Colton Sands. I mean, heck, he was part of, you could argue, 3KU last year. We saw that race at the opener between Parker Wolf and Ethan Strand. Strand kicking in that last 100 to set the collegiate record of 7:30.15. Sands, 7:39.60, still the 3rd fastest in UNC history.
So Ethan Strand is number 22 all-time with that aforementioned 7:30.15. The facility record, not much faster than that. Yard and a Goose back in 23, 7:28.23 is right now Colin Shaver from Boston College, setting the tempo. When they cross start finish, that will be 1 kilometer in the books.
They're slightly outside of 4-minute per mile pace, but they're still making pretty solid tempo, and it's typically towards the end of a 3K when you'll see who's left remaining, who's been able to tolerate that pace with their fitness, that you'll see that pace start to come back towards that 7:30 mark with what we've seen in this event recently.
So 2:32 plus was the pace for our now leading Marco Langon from Villanova. Again, they were scheduled to be on 7:35 clip, so Shaver did an admirable job setting the tempo. 6 laps in the books, 9 to go at 3:03.
And Marco Langon, though, he's made it pretty crystal clear that he wants to go for some NCAA titles in the 3 and 5K. He's got phenomenal speed over the shorter distances as well. He's number 3 all-time in 3:33 mid over the 1,500 meters outdoors, behind only Ethan Strand and his former teammate Leah Murphy.
So one of the things we haven't mentioned yet are the 3 BYU runners currently sitting in 4th, 5th, and 6th. Thomas Boyden, we did mention about one of their teammates that got pushed to the back of this pack, but they are right in position, really where you want to be. They're not up there setting the tempo, but they are just right there in a perfect position. If anybody does falter, but you know what? The pace is slowing down a little bit. Let's go, guys. All of us, we are all in. Again, BYU currently sitting 4th, 5th, and 6th. Paul Free from Oregon in the number 2 position, or number 3, with Colton Sands ahead of him. And again, right now, all trailing Marco Langon from Villanova.
That was our first 1600 at 4:04 even for Langon. We'll see what kind of close he's got waiting in the wings. You see the BYU athletes have lost contact, but one guy I'm really curious to see how he does, Tayvon Kitchen, their freshman standout who broke 4 indoors here at the Terrier DMR Challenge last year. He's already number 2 on the 5K all-time BYU list at 13:19:17. His teammate Thompson fell earlier. We'll see if Tavon can get back in the mix.
So that second cluster of 7 runners trying to close a little bit of open space between our top 3. You see it right there, about 6 meters, and then 4th and 5th position right now occupied by 2 BYU Cougars, with Marco Langon still in the lead. Next time by will be 2 kilometers. Then we'll be really down to the nitty-gritty racing.
We'll see what this second kilometer is. It looks to be just about even from the first, maybe a little bit slower, but for Langon, I'd say he came through at 2:32.5, so dead even at 5:05. This is going to be a good race coming home.
How quickly can they close? Could they go 2:26? Drop it by like 9 seconds? That really would be kicking it in. But really nobody is started to race yet. They're just very patient, very content to sit where they are.
And this is an opportunity for a statement maker for all 3 of these guys. Yes, they're all likely to finish in a time that'll qualify them for NCAAs, but it's ultimately who comes away with a win that's going to be making the headlines. Tavon Kitchen recognizes that as he's just passed up Isaac Hedengren into 4th and is going to go after the top 3.
So 30-point the last go round, and you do see that acceleration and that separation has disappeared now between the top 3 and the rest of the field. Forget about the lights, folks. Now we are competing as they come down. 3 laps to go, 600 meters, and he is going from a well up the pace 4th. Is he going to take the lead, or is he going to sit on Langon's shoulders? He's going all the way to the front.
Just like he did in the opening stages of the cross-country national championships as a true freshman, Tayvon Kitchen has guts out here, Phil.
Now that is going for home from a long way away. We're talking about maybe in New York State, and you're headed to Boston. That is a long distance to cover, and he's bringing Palfrey with him now from Oregon.
Maybe from Provo, Utah, if you want to be more technical, but either way, that latest 600 split, if you bring it down, they're back beneath that 130 pace, and Marco Langon is completely fine with that.
He has responded. They're now down under 30 seconds, 29 low for the fastest split from the top 3. Sands now back into 3rd place. Have they dropped Palfrey? It kind of looks like they have. His legs are heavy. Langon now in the lead, coming up to the bell. They're going to be just over 7 minutes, and here comes Colton Sands. He is going to put himself in a kicker's position right on the shoulder of Marco Langon.
The question is, does Sands have the speed to compete with Langon? We know he's had the strength. He's been running 5Ks and 3Ks alongside Strand and Wolf for years, but now he's got to challenge Langon, take down the beast in the final 100.
It is down to the final 100 meters. Marco Langon from Villanova, Colton Sands from the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. They're windmilling it, they're yelling, they're screaming. Sands to the finish line. Langon holds him off and takes a tumble. Wow, all in, no doubt about it, as Marco Langon's legs just gave out at 3,001 meters, and that's where you want it to happen.
I think Marco Langon has made it a signature move to tumble across the finish line. This is just what happened at the opener meet when he got outleaned by thousands by Hoptum Samuel on the line. But this is the win he was looking for. His first of his senior season was a Villanova Wildcat, and he could not be happier. Nice to see him smile after the race, but my oh my, Colton Sands just took a big jump off of his personal best. Langon a new Villanova record of 7:34 flat. What a victory.
Wow, the final push for the line. And again, he realized that, you know what, I'm going to lose this if I don't give everything and then some in my legs. There are the numbers, just 0.05 of a second as they were able to pull themselves 2+ seconds away from the rest of the field. Tavon Kitchen, what an incredibly gallant effort to push for home from over 700 meters out.
And he might not have won, Phil, but he just destroyed Casey Klinger's BYU indoor record, down from 7:41.05, nearly a 5-second improvement in his first college 3K.
And Ed Eyestone is down there congratulating that young man in the infield. As we take another look at this one, what a great 15-lapper from beginning to end. A fairly clean race. We saw the big gap early on between Colin Shaver, our pace setter, and there was the run for home. Started with Marco Langon from Villanova taking control. There's Kitchen's move from well off the pace, fourth to first. Wow.
People in this field as I would have liked, and I didn't realize the pace was only going to K, but when I smelled blood on all those guys, I knew I had to go for it. They passed you with 600 to go, and I knew that they was going to start bleeding, and they ready to bleed like I am, so just had to get back to the front with the lap left and show them I'm the best. That's it. That's really all I can say with that, you know, and yeah.
Obviously never a dull moment with you. You dove to the line, got the win. Tell me, what's the difference between your grit and everyone else's?
Yeah, I know I need it more. I know the position I'm in, being responsible for making sure my family is good financially. So winning races like this, getting national titles, running fast, that's the way to up my contract for my mom and my sister so we can make sure we're all set, you know. My mom's the lunch lady. She loves her job, and she doesn't work during the summers, so I'm going to be racing during the summers, making sure I got my family right. My sister, she just got to high school, and I love that girl to death, and the only thing I want is to be able to give her anything she wants when she gets older. And that's it. I know track's going to be my way to do that. Listen, man, I don't know nothing about anything else except for running. That's it. So I don't know what it is like to be the national champion. I don't know what it's like to be the best in the world yet. So right now I got to focus on being the best in the NCAA. And that's all I got, you know. And I want all the smoke. I want to be beating everybody, you know. I believe I'm the best. I want smoke from everybody because I know once that smoke clears, only the strong survive, and those are the only people that's going to be coming out of that smoke. So by March, I know I'm going to accomplish my goal of being the two-time champ.
So I got to ask, one of the biggest matchups that everyone was talking about was you and Gary Martin. When you learned he was a late scratch, did that change the tactic at all?
Nuh-uh, because I was going to be right behind him regardless, and I know he got his ass right up on the pacer, you know. And at the end of the day, he didn't show up, but, you know, last week, 2 weeks ago, whatever it was, when I ran that Grand Prix in the 3K to try to get the qualifying time, I was sick during that. I was sick the entire week leading up to that, you know. And at the end of the day, I had to show up regardless, you know. Real champs show up. Real people show up. If it was war, if it was like fight to the death, you're in the Middle East getting your arm shot off, you still be fighting because you know you got to stay up and survive. So that's how I'm like all the time.